allow me to introduce myself. I'm Joseph Kafunda. I'm a team member of the TI, which stands for Tourism Investments Africa. And together with my team today, we would like to welcome each and everyone to be part and parcel of our launch, as we will be participating on this year ITF in Rwanda, based on the 8th until the 14th of December. So we would like to welcome each and everyone as the participants of this great initiative. So with due respect, let me just welcome our chairperson of the African Tourism Board, Mr. Gubert Makube, who is with us today. And we'll have also our key speaker. He will be also one of our key speakers. And then we'll have also the most person who is speaking about sustainable tourism currently in this moment of time, Mr. Julian, who will also be joining us. And as a team members, we will have Sharon, who will be able to introduce our ideas and everything that we are all about. And then we'll have Yvonne, and we'll have also Michelle, who will be able to deal and inform the team all about what we are all about. So TIA, as we call ourselves, it's in a dream team, but this dream team didn't just to start today. We started a year back, where we start talking about what can we be able to do and how can we be able to change the mindsets of the people so that tourism can be seen as an investment opportunity. Because for years, we in Africa, we have looked at tourism industry as just as a business, but we have not looked at it as an investment opportunity for many investors out there. So I will give this opportunity to Sharon so that she can be able to explain to us about the whole TIA, because she is the mother of this whole initiative. She come up with all the team, which we are a team of 6 members. And out of those 6 members, we are having a diasporas and Africans come together so that we can be able to talk about investment opportunity in Africa. So Sharon, do you mind keeping everybody who has been waiting for this opportunity so that we can be able to brief them about ourselves and what we are all about? And then after that, I'll be able to play a slide so that we can all understand what we are all about. Thank you. Sharon, the floor is yours, please.
You're on mute, Vera.
Sorry about that. So, hello everyone. Thank you, Joseph, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm excited and glad to be here. And we thank you for honoring this day that we launched the initiative. Tourism Invest Africa, which we call TIA, is an initiative driven by 6 focused tourism business across the continent and the diaspora. And the primary objective of driving this initiative is to promote and tourism as global economic player that it is by exhibiting investment-ready destinations, products, and services in Africa. And one of the platforms that we felt that there was a need to showcase tourism is the intra-African trade fair, which would hold this year in Kigali, Rwanda. And we know that, I mean, there's a known fact to everyone in the industry that tourism, African tourism, from 2 years reports was or rather is the 2nd fastest growing industry in the world after Asia Pacific. So we felt that it was time to work with like minds and objective to position the industry right for investment opportunities. And we're proudly supported by the African Tourism Board. So why the IATF? Now, the IATF is an event that is an initiative by Afreximbank, powered by African Union. The event is to drive the initiative, to drive the Africa Free Trade Continental Trade Area Agreement. And that's one of the big events that bring together all the key major players, both in the public and the private space within the African continent, to meet and network for investment opportunities, basically trade and investment. Now, in 2018, we were present at the IATF, and we noticed that the tourism industry as a whole in the African continent was not broadly represented or visible, as it were. And we know the important role tourism plays in trade, in the after agreements as well. And so we felt that it's time for the industry to come out boldly and showcase investment-ready businesses and tourism, which is a need in the sector. And we felt that it was time to bridge that gap. And we felt that the IATF is the perfect, one of the perfect stage to showcase African tourism. So that's why the IATF idea came up. So, and then this is going to be the first time that the African tourism industry would be represented at the IATF. Now, TIA, we have a pavilion, which my colleague will talk about and share more light on how you can get involved and benefit as a business, as a destination on why is the business at the IATF. But I mean, just to go through the team, which my colleague Joseph had already mentioned, we come from we're made up of 6 from within the Africas, South Africa, Namibia, Ethiopia, Ghana, London, and Nigeria. And like I said, we're proudly supported by Africa Tourism Board. You'll find more details about the team on our website. Now, the objective of the initiative, which we also have on our website, but I might just run through just 3 or 4 of them, is 1, to highlight African tourism as a significant global economic player, to showcase investment-ready destinations, products, and services, and then to create an African tourism market, a go-to guide for investors, bring delegation of vendors, service providers, tourism stakeholders together under one pavilion, as opposed to having different stands. That the aim is to have all of us under one umbrella with one voice to push for growing the tourism space through investments that are available at the IATF. Then what's the value proposition to us, to you and I as a business? Now, for investors, ready destinations who are looking to expound and grow their business in terms of tourism, hospitality, travel, destinations, this is one of the best platforms right now in Africa to align with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement area with all the force that agreement is pulling. This is one of the best platforms for tourism to exhibit and promote and meet with investors who are available at the IATF, because it welcomes over 10,000 attendees. This is the right platform to meet with these investors, to connect with them, to initiate investment conversations, to sign deals and enter new markets. So that's the purpose, the main objective of the TIA. So I'll stop here, and then I'll let my colleague share more on how destinations, products, services, businesses within the public and private space can get involved and benefit from this wonderful opportunity happening in Kigali in December. Thank you.
Good afternoon and greetings, everyone. Welcome to our launch webinar. My name is Michelle Fanison-Hill, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can get involved in the Tourism Invest Africa initiative. So, as my colleague Vera mentioned, TIA is going to be a branded pavilion at the Intra-Africa Trade Fair. And this is going to be a physically branded pavilion of about 200 square meters. This is what we're contracting with the IATF venue at the moment. So 200 square meters, and how we plan to use that space is 3 areas. Firstly, exhibition. So that is space for about 20 3-meter by 2-meter exhibition stands. We'd like to have a seminar space so we can have some presentations and some workshops over the course of the 4 or 5 days or 6 days, I think it is. So it's some seminar space, and also a networking and information hub, because we know that there's a huge lack of information. There's a disconnect when it comes to access to information. So we want to have an information hub, which will also double up as a networking area where we can have one-to-one meetings and networking meetings as well. So the ways that you can get involved are exhibiting. So you can have a 3-meter by 2-meter stand to be able to showcase your business, and there's space for about 20 businesses. We can get more, but at the moment there's 20 businesses. If you want a stand, you can have a sort of a small stand or a double stand to showcase a network. So there's the networking area where you can get involved in one-to-one meetings and to connect with investors and connect with other stakeholders in the industry. So that's the one-to-one meetings. You can do a speaking slot or a workshop within our seminar. So if you want to, address something or look at something a bit more high level, or present a paper or something like that, then you can present, do a presentation or lead a workshop. And then there's also the branding opportunity as well. So logo placement, the opportunity to get your brand out there and your company out there. So there's visual representation and virtual representation as well. So the packages that we have available, and these are not at all not set in stone. I mean, it is about having a conversation. So after the webinar today, if you want to get in touch with us and say, tell us what you want, and if that fits, we can create something a little bit more bespoke. But the packages that we have available start from the information pod, which is sort of providing information for people to pick up as they go past, and this is priced at $1,000. Then you can have a 3-meter by 2-meter booth within the exhibition, and this is $2,000. The gold pack we have, this is bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and ultimate. The gold package includes everything that I've just said, but with a speaking slot or a workshop as well, and this is $5,000. The platinum package is where you can have some branding, whether that's in the networking area or the seminar space area. Also, you can have the opportunity to be branded where the one-to-one meetings are. And then also, as this kind of sponsor, if you take this sort of package, we will also line up one-to-one meetings for you as well. So there's the opportunity to get face-to-face connection with the people that are there. And that is $10,000. And then we've also got the opportunity for maybe 2 or 3 or maybe more culture nights. And this is the ultimate package. And this is where sort of tourism boards or, sort of large travel or tourism companies can showcase their destinations or their countries on the tourism part, and for tourism attractions and things like that. And that is priced at $15,000. So there's a range of, depending on your budget, of how much exposure that you're looking for, from $1,000 up to $15,000. And it's a range of opportunities from providing information to having a booth, networking, one-to-one meetings, exhibition space, and sort of more on the branding side, and then a full-on kind of cultural experience. So those culture evenings will be a cultural evening, a cultural experience that we can plan. It can be completely bespoke to your destination. So I hope that gives you a flavour of what is on offer. We're of course open to conversations. If you want to schedule meetings with myself and with any of our team members, we'd be more than happy to speak a little bit more about what kind of profile you're looking for. But I hope that's given you enough information for now.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Vero, Sharon, for such a wonderful briefing that you have given our people that have joined, or everybody that have joined today. And once again, we have to understand 2021, we should be talking about business and investment opportunity. How can we be able to change and be the key player towards the investment opportunity when it comes to Africa? That is the whole brain behind the TIA formation. So like the two speakers have mentioned, it's in a simple things. All we have to do is to join and be part and parcel of this team. And allow me to apologize for not sharing the slide. That technology is never always our case. We are trying to learn and try to come up with the way in how we can be able to improve our technology. So we will be able to share the slide as soon as we can. But with further ado, let me allow to introduce the following person. She's a regional director for African, who has been appointed as a director for Africa at the World Travel and Tourism. She has worked in Botswana. She's an advocate for sustainable tourism. She has organized so many Zoom webinar where she teach people and encourage people to become a key players in the tourism industry. With these moments, allow me to introduce Julian Blackherd as our next speaker, who is going to be speaking to us about the tourism opportunity and tourism investments in Africa. Ms. Julian, the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you, everyone, and welcome to everyone. I haven't seen people for a while. We've been quiet on our Zoom webinars, but it's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful to talk about the importance of tourism investment in Africa in a time where we're already starting to see the industry start to look forward and come out of COVID in a stronger, better position than we've ever been before. And I'm only going to talk to you for a little while, but I wanted to start with some facts and figures so that we can really grasp the significance of tourism in Africa and why investment is so important in the sector. If you look at Africa, 7.1% of the total GDP, which is about 168 billion US dollars annually, comes from tourism. We employ 24.6 million people in tourism, and visitors spend $61.3 billion in total exports. Tourism is dominated by leisure. It's about 70% leisure, and it's split quite evenly between domestic and international. 55% is domestic, 45% is international. And this sounds pretty awesome when you look at it in the greater scheme of African development. But I urge you to look at the figures of Africa in the larger global tourism economy. Africa only contributes a little more than 3% to the total global tourism economy, which seems rather negative if you think of it, but I always try to think of negative as a positive. If it's 3%, there surely is a huge element of growth that we can all capture and work together. So look at it as a glass half full, not empty. And if you think about the obvious economic benefits of tourism to Africa, I just want you to figure 3 more factors which you might not have thought of. Tourism is one of the most sustainable investments and avenues for growth for our continent. If you invest in tourism, you're supporting all 70 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. That you create employment in areas that are urban as well as rural. So you're stopping this huge migration into urban areas. Tourism creates gender equality. We employ 54% women compared to 39% of women employed in the broader economy. And lastly, tourism contributes to the protection of the natural environment. For example, non-consumptive wildlife tourism in Africa contributes over 18% of the total revenue, and maybe much more. So first one, tourism is sustainable. This is why we need to invest in it. The second one, tourism investment is largely driven by private sector. It's not affected by national issues and politics, and therefore it is a little bit less risky. Large projects are usually funded by foreign direct investment, but the majority of investments are done by individuals rather than consortiums, which means that there's a lot more people investing and working in tourism. At this time, just before the COVID crisis, there was a little bit of a change in trend. You were seeing more hotel chains coming into Africa and developing mainly in the urban areas. And I think the count was about 450 properties were in development before COVID crisis hit. So when you have private sector, it's a lot more open and a lot less risky for investment. And the last, I think, most important reason why tourism is so important for Africa and why we need to invest in tourism is that it creates a pride in Africa and for Africans to begin to explore their own continent. It democratizes the tourism economy in Africa. And we need to see more investment coming from our own people and our own businesses into tourism. And as you see, there's more product diversification. Tourism in Africa becomes more accessible, which is why investment is so important in terms of product diversification. And if you develop tourism for a diverse market, including our own homegrown market, it's less risky. COVID-19 has taught us that international travel can close. And where we saw operations, for example, in the Victoria Falls or in Zambia or the Okavango Delta, relying entirely on the domestic market. But it's also an avenue for homegrown driven tourism investment. And it doesn't necessarily have to be capital heavy. There's so many components to the tourism value chain, whether it's direct or indirect, that so many of our own people can invest in and grow and thrive and innovate in business. Whether it's from craft production to boutique accommodation, tour operations, experiential guiding, that's just a small area. If you go into the indirect supply chain, think about how much business tourism uses indirectly. I think I read a study from Gillian Saunders talking about just one hotel in Johannesburg buying over 6,000 eggs from a local producer every single day. So tourism provides an investment opportunity for all Africans. And I think that we should look at this as an opportunity for growth. With the right business enablers, and I didn't have enough time to talk about business enablers and things that we need to work on to ensure investment happens. But with those right investment enablers in place, we will see a huge growth, a growth that from 3% to 4% will account for billions of additional revenue into our economy. Right now, only 10 countries in Africa receive more than $1 billion in tourism revenues annually. There's 54 countries, and surely we can all move towards developing this. And there is a growing shift. Prior to COVID, we were seeing tourism destinations emerging, not the large ones that we traditionally feel that are tourism investment hubs, not the South Africa or the Kenya, Morocco or Egypt. We're seeing tourism hubs grow, places that are becoming bucket lists, places like Zambia, for example, who's been listed as one of the top 5 destinations by CNN 2 times in a row. These are smaller countries that are growing significantly. And we all as Africans have an obligation to invest in tourism for a sustainable future. So that was just my little bit of introduction to investment in tourism. And I'm happy to share any information with anybody else, if you like, on what we're doing, what Africa's Eden is about. It is a private sector driven association, and we drive private sector development and destination marketing for the 4 countries within CASA. So that's Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So thank you everyone for listening, and it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julian, for such a wonderful words of encouragement. And I shall concur with you on that, and that tourism is a value chain business. So everyone should be included, and we shouldn't be looking at investment opportunity only on the bigger pictures or bigger scales. We should look at everyone is part and parcel of the process of investments. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me also to introduce our next speaker, who used to be the regional vice president of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. He is a current chairperson of the African Tourism Board. He has been the most fighting person that I have encountered. He has been challenging and he has faced challenges. With due respect, let me introduce Mr. Kubet Kube, the African Tourism Board chairperson. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Mr. Kube, just unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I really appreciate, and thank you so much. Sharon, Michelle, it's really a pleasure once again to converge as we inaugurate setting the pace for the great event we are expecting in Kigali 2021. And Julian, it's good to see you once again. And we just had a meeting with Qatar TravelMet with my colleague Doris Parson, where we had quite a lot of great engagements, and also in terms of saying how do we integrate Africa and Asia, bring together, because we're fighting one battle towards one big objective. And I would also want to take the opportunity to recognize Mr. Boris Kohn, who is the European Union resident representative in Africa, based here in South Africa. It's good to see you, sir. And I would really appreciate as well the support you can actually give to this great team, whose objective is to see how best we can align our lovely continent, the beautiful Africa, and recognizing as well the CEO of Revealed Word University, who are based in Rwanda. So I think that would be also an opportunity, my CEO, to make sure that you take advantage and really display the potential and the essence of education, not only in Rwanda, but across the continent of Africa. I'm not sure if I could, I see there is a presentation on the screen. Would you be kind enough to shift it a little bit for a few minutes? Okay. Right. Okay. Yes, colleagues, we really want to appreciate Gillian, such an inspiring conversation, especially when we talk about, if we talk about investment in Africa. I think it's really high time for us to take pride and take charge. And you have given us the statistics on the numbers of people who are coming in and out of Africa, and also bearing in mind that travel and tourism remains one of the key growth factors and drivers of the continent's economy, contributing, as I allude with yourself, about what, 8.5% of the gross domestic product, which is equivalent to quite a lot of US dollars. And I always challenge when we have audiences with the ministers that, look, I think it's high time for us to create our United Africa, where we can actually bring and come up with our own currency, so that our economies shouldn't be detected by somebody else who has created his currency and forced it to Africa. So it's high time for Africa to stand up. So this growth record placed the continent, and it's placing the continent as the second fastest growing tourism region in the world, with a growth rate, of course, of 5.6% after Asia Pacific and 3.9% global average growth rate. May I hasten to say that, colleagues, you would concur with me, you would agree with me. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. I just saw something covering my skin. May I hasten to say Africa is a continent full of massive beauty and opportunities, especially within the tourism investment, especially with the implementation of the Africa Continental Trade Area, which, by the way, hasn't been fully adopted and appreciated by many. We still need to see the will and the drive, actually, for all 54 member states to appreciate and start implementing. We need to realize our worth, realize our full potential and massive gains across the continent of ours. It is time as well to create more campaigns, to create more awarenesses, and promote intra-African investment opportunities with our diversified products and services that are unparalleled to any. When we look at our tourism sector, importantly, the economic growth created by the sector impacts positively on the lives of our ordinary people who are simultaneously beneficiaries and co-creators. Tourism has the world over been shown to be a sector in which people can simultaneously participate and co-create their economic growth and their economic development. Colleagues, I am comforted to note that many countries across the continent have started unlocking and easing up various restrictions implemented to combat the spread of this virus. This indeed is a good sign on the road towards the economic recovery of our sector. And we note with relief that member states countries are implementing a wide range of safety protocols, measures to mitigate the impact of the pandemic outbreak and to stimulate the recovery of the sector. As we inaugurate and setting the pace for the Intra-Africa Trade Fair 2021 in Kigali, the Tourism Invest Africa Pavilion will be the best place at the trade fair, as Sharon has indicated to us. That will bring all strategic role players within the tourism sector together so that we can then start connecting and we drive the investment conversation. May I also hasten to emphasize some of the factors that are very fundamental on the exclusiveness approach of the global counterparts. Africa has been placed at the backdrop of priorities when it comes to issues of containment and the issues of the rolling out of the vaccines. And I have always argued that it's like somebody who is sweeping his room, but he does not gather the dust, he sweeps under the bed. Ultimately, it will definitely affect you as the time goes on. That is exactly what is happening. So Africa should be able to stand, Africa should be able to get together so that we can fight our own battles. There hasn't been a cohesive and a well-coordinated approach that will fast track our recovery and ultimately activate the pace of the travel sector. So therefore, the success to increase investment attractiveness of the tourism industry is totally dependent on Africans themselves, dependent on ourselves. It is our responsibilities myself and yourself. So this impact must prompt all of us across the continent, all stakeholders, to consider policies that will help restrain, that will help recover and reset our travel economics. Our resolves have the potential to stimulate economic activity with a much greater collaboration, inclusive and solidarity across each member state. Africa needs a total shift from international dependency to a continental appreciation approach, looking within, staying within, with so much to offer and so much at our disposal. Africa, let's therefore break the divides that has separated us as nations, that has separated us as brothers and sisters. The need for a multi-sectorial stakeholders in the investment and economic spheres with the aim of driving the investment in Africa. We need to see a more robust strategies to undergird the regeneration of key infrastructure subsectors as means of storing Africa as the economic hub of the world. Colleagues, this event will be hosted in Kigali, in Rwanda. May I be allowed to share a quote from our president, Paul Kagame, where he said, I quote, "I would rather argue that we need to mobilize the right mindsets rather than more funding. We don't need more funding. We don't need monies coming out of the from the other sources, whose, by the way, interest we cannot even afford to pay back. After all, in Africa, we have everything we need. Africa, it's like a pregnant woman who's waiting to deliver. So my responsibility and your responsibility is to make sure that we become doctors and make sure Africa delivers a healthy young lady or young man. In real terms, whatever is lacking, we have the means to acquire, and yet we remain mentally married to the idea that nothing can get moving without external finance. That's a very strong statement. We are even begging for things we already have. That is absolutely a failure of mindset, unquote. This is what the president is saying to us. And I just want to challenge each and every one of us to say, let us start appreciating what God has given us as Africa. I need to lobby as well. We will be having a ministerial engagement sometime next week where we will definitely invite each and every one of us to attend, where we are saying as much as we are lobbying the government and encourage all member states in Africa to address issues of political inclusion and support capacity building for tourism to appreciate and understand the vital role played by the private sector and the need for a continental government to create an enabling environment for investment, as well as to provide supporting infrastructure investment development. I really appreciate the organizers as we are preparing and as we are taking an extra mile to make sure that we gather at Kigali. I have noted two things which are regrettable. It's very unfortunate, where most of the member states of most of the companies, they are now preparing for the world tourism market in London. And here we are, right next door in Kigali, where we are saying, as Africans, let us converge, let us come together, let us brainstorm, Let us discuss, let's see how best we can implement so that our Africa should definitely be, because the future of the global community is in Africa. Whether we believe it or not, the future of the world is in Africa. That is why we have Chinese flocking to Africa. That is why we have people from Europe flocking to Africa, investing in Africa. And yet we are at the backdrop. Why can't we take those opportunities as Africans? This is ours. Let us guide with jealousy so that at the end of it, when we have ran the race, what legacy are we leaving behind? So I just want to applaud colleagues for the initiative, and we are looking forward definitely to converge in Kigali and make it happen. Africa, it is our time. It is our time, and it is our time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. Mr. Kube, let's just remind all the participants that he has very expertise in strategic management, business development, international relations, corporations. So he's one of the most educated person that we can say we have in Southern Africa. And all of us, we can be able to hear from his speaking that he doesn't leave a stone untouched. So he touched from every corner. That's due to his knowledge and experience in the tourism industry that he has gained over the 20 years of his experience. I believe the next step, it's what he said, we should all meet in Rwanda. Rwanda is just our neighbor, it's in Africa. Let's promote intra-Africa. Let's see how we can be able to build on that rock that has been built for years by other people. So I think our next speaker, she can be able to elaborate a little bit more about the involvements that each and everyone can be able to get involved. Yvonne, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. Before I go into that all-important call to action, I know that there's a few people that have come in a little bit later after Vera and Sharon have spoken. So I think it would be quite important for me just to highlight, in summary, our goals and what we are trying to achieve before we make that all-important call to action. So the Tourism Invest Africa at this point has 3 major goals. The first one is to highlight African tourism as a significant global economic player that it is. And how we're going to do that is by showcasing investment-ready destinations, products and services at the IATF 2021 in Kigali, Rwanda. The second goal is to create a guideline that advances market information, measuring and accessibility, a go-to guide, so to speak, for investors and investees alike. The third one is to align African tourism with the African Union Vision 2063 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. Just want to put that on full screen quickly. So Vera and Sharon have gone through this as well, but again, like I said, we're just highlighting it in summary. Who are we expecting to participate? DMCs, hotels, the hospitality industry, airlines, payment gateways, insurance companies, tour operators and travel agencies, public and private sector, tourism boards and tourism ministries. The diaspora plays quite a significant role in this as well. Travel writers and bloggers, MICE organizations, marketing and PR firms, press and media, travel writers and bloggers, and the whole value chain. Now, why I'm highlighting that particularly is speaking into the call to action. call to action is primarily made to 3 sets of people. The first one would be exhibitors, the second one would be sponsors, and the third one would be champions and partners. So exhibitors would be your investor-ready businesses, DMCs, hotels and hospitalities, tour operators. So anybody that's really in the business of tourism and hospitality, and their business or operation is at a point where they're really looking to get to the next level through some significant contribution in the way of investment. Excuse me. On the sponsors side of things, if you're a traditional tourism player in the tourism market, and maybe you'd like to reestablish your presence, there's no better opportunity than the TIA Pavilion at the IATF 2021. This is where you can maximize visibility, remind people that you're still a force to be reckoned with, and also remind people that you are still very much a strong supporter of the tourism trade within Africa. If you are on the flip side of things where you aren't necessarily a traditional player within the tourism market, so here I'm talking about your payment gateways, your insurance, your diasporians, the media, those kind of players, you're also invited to look at our sponsor packages that were spoken about earlier in the talk. Now, the last one, champions and partners, really covers everybody that's on this call and beyond. Cuthbert touched on the need and the importance of collaboration within Africa. And Gillian highlighted the impact that investment has on our continent as a whole. So practically, when you see a communication from us on social media, or when you see an email come through from TIA in your inbox, please feel free to share it far and wide. Word of mouth and referral is still quite a strong means of achieving a goal. It is quite a big goal that we have here, and we are confident that with collaboration of all industry, we will achieve it. So again, if you see a post, please share it. If you have a database or a good network of industry or supporters of the travel industry, please do let us know. We're very happy to send through our communications, and that we hope you will in turn share with your database and your various networks. So that's really the call to action tonight, and I hope that it is clear. Joseph, back to you.
Thank you, Yvonne. And I will concur with both our speakers. The first speaker, Ms. Julian, our chairperson for African Tourism Board, Mr. Nkube. I will say, let us get ready for investment. This is an opportunity that has been presented to us. Why do we have to wait? We have always, for years, been talking about investment readiness in Africa. The question is, are we ready to be able to meet in Rwanda on the 8th to the 14th of December? As we have started this group, TIA, Tourism Investments for Africa, it's for Africa, for Africans. Let's invest, let's look at opportunity and how we can change, because we are the only game changers towards the tourism industry. In order to protect the future investments in tourism, we have to start to be ready today. So ladies and gentlemen, let me once again thank you very, very much for taking your time to be here with us so that we can be able to launch TIA, or Tourism Investments Africa. So with those little words that we have all gained today, let's promote, let's make sure that we share, and should anybody have any question, please feel free. My team and I, we are ready for those questions. Please, the floor is open for anybody who would like to ask for the questions. Sharon is here, Michelle is here, Yvonne is here, and the background team, we are all here to be able to respond. Ms. Doris, we will definitely share the presentation with you. Technicality that had a disruption earlier, so we'll be able to share that with you. I can see the hands raised by Obina. The floor is yours, please.
Hi, Joseph and the entire team. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, fantastic.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, mine is not really a question, but I just want to commend the amazing team that's behind this. Right. I think I had a chat with Sharon some time ago, but I wasn't very solid on what the outcome of this will be. So I just want to say you guys have really taken a bold step. This is some kind of conversation we've been going back and forth on. Me trying to do something similar for the mice sector, and you guys just taking the bull by the horn and doing this cross national collaboration. So this is a fantastic idea. I just wanted to say, well done, guys. And if you guys are open to further partnerships, like I've already tried chatting Michelle on the side, I will be open to learn more, see how we can come in and bring external skills and just push this agenda the furthest we can take it. So thank you very much, guys. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Obina.
Thank you very much, Obina. That's really powerful words. And I think I see Doris Patson has her hands up. Doris, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, TIA, for this wonderful initiative. Mr. Kube actually literally sent me the link and I asked him, what is this for? If I just join. And I had no idea what I was joining and what I was going to hear on it, but it was well worth my time. So thank you so much for this initiative. I'm based in Kigali. I'm a PCO, a DMC, and incentive travel expert, as well as a communications consultant. So I would definitely want to consider participation. But the question I have at this point is that you said you have a floor space of 200 square meters. So, or I think I may have gotten that wrong, but
that's correct.
Potentially, yeah, how many?
That's correct.
Okay, how many? Yeah, how many participants then? If the space is divided into exhibition and all the other activities that could be happening around the pavilion, how many do you have? Do you have a total head count? I mean, not head count, but number of participants that you want to be on the pavilion, because you don't want it to be too spaced out, and you also don't want it to be overcrowded. So do you have a number of participants that you would want, or I mean, how does that happen? And then do you have a floor plan maybe, or a render of the design of the pavilion perhaps? I mean, what stage of preparation are you at? Maybe let me ask that.
So we're at the early stage, but we've mapped out. Hi, Doris. Hi, Doris.
Hello.
We're at the early stage of contracting out the space with the IATF organisers who read. But we've mapped out how we want to use it. That's not set in stone. It does depend on, so we're flexible in terms of demand and so on. But this exhibition space is mapped out for 20 stands, but we can accommodate more and then compromise on seminar space or networking space or whatever. But it is 200 square meters. Yeah.
Okay. And my follow-up question to that, thank you so much. My follow-up question to that would be, IATF really, it's an opportunity to meet with investors, but I'm not familiar with their program. How are the meetings sort of guaranteed? I mean, if you're an exhibitor, how do they have a hosted sort of buyer program? Do they have a business match making program? How is the ITIF program ensuring that people who do exhibit have opportunities to speak to potential investors?
So,
Hello, did you hear my question?
Yes,
Oh.
I heard your question. So it's an event. It's an event within an event. Yes. So, sorry, Joseph, were you going to say something? So it's
no. I just wanted to because you are more onto that logistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So Doris, it's an event within an event. It's an event within an event, Doris. So I know that my colleagues, Vera and other colleagues, attended the initial event in Cairo in the first time around in 2018, and there were quite a number of investors there. So yes is the answer, that there will be investors there, and the IATF have their own methods of the matchmaking, but we also have our own method of matchmaking as well. We have our own network of being able to bring investors and so on, and we'll be able to match those with those attending the IATF because we've had the conversation with the organizers. So we will have eyes and ears on who is coming and be able to have access to that data as exhibitors. Okay, that's great. You've absolutely answered my questions. And I think I sent a message earlier directly to the co-host that as someone on the ground, if you need any help, if you need any assistance, then I'd be more than happy to help you guys, unless you already have someone helping you. So yeah. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll follow up with you. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of getting someone to design this, design the stand, to build the stand, because I know how it's working with the ATIF right now. Maybe with the exhibitors, you have two options to have them build a stand for you, or you can source your own, depending on which works out better or more cost effective, and someone to manage it as well. So, if you need any help, I've sent you my email. Yeah, we'd be looking. Yeah, we'd be looking for. Yeah, we'd be looking for reliable local suppliers if we can. So if you have access to that, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, we'll follow up with you, Doris. Definitely, that's what we do. I'm based there, so amazing. That should help. Yeah, thank you. Amazing. But lovely. It's such a brilliant. I mean, unless otherwise, but I would, under normal circumstances, I would want to be working on this event, but for this one I'd want to be an exhibitor for sure. Definitely, it's such a good initiative. So well done, guys, and thank you, Cuthbert, for inviting me to join this.
Thank you so much, Doris. That is the
thank you, Doris, for taking.
Yes, that's the spirit of Africanism, and that's the spirit of really true tourism ambassador. We really appreciate that spirit. We all are grouped together. We are all of the same thing with one objective. So let us join hands, not as competitors, but as co-workers towards rebranding our lovely continent. Thank you once again, Doris. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And I can see Mr. Foster has hands raised up, and after Mr. Foster, we'll have Mr. Fazou Deme from Senegal. Mr. Foster, just unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. My name is Foster from Mufasa Safaris and Tour, based in Namibia. I should say that I'm really impressed by the presentation which was done. For all of you who presented, I was really impressed. I can see that now we are talking real business and we are moving forward as African. As the chairperson emphasized it, that we should use this opportunity to move forward. We can't depend on the other market. We have got a big continent. We have got so many people in this continent who have got the meaning. They have got money. We used to travel out of this continent, whom now we can use by getting to know their own continent. Really impressed by this presentation. At the same time, I wanted to ask a question, because when you consider the title of it, it had to do with investment. So how do you want to attract investors to assist us and be part of this business together? Where are these investors coming? Do you have already a kind of investors, or it's just a beginning? That's the first question. And the second question, I know I will deal with Mr. Kafunda later on, but maybe it's the right time to ask it also. What does it involve to be part of this association? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
So I can answer the question about the
thank you, ladies and
access
gentlemen.
to...
Just remind you that yes, go ahead, Michelle. But let me just remind you that we got like 8 more minutes because of other engagements.
Yeah, we need to wrap up. Just to answer your question, Faustin, it was very similar to Doris's question about the access to the investors and how we can guarantee. So my answer was that there are a significant pool of investors that attend the Intra-Africa Trade Fair. So if you think about this, we are an event within an event. So we are a collection of exhibitors already at the event, which is the Intra-Africa Trade Fair. And this already attracts a significant number of investors. So we will automatically get visibility with these people. But second to that, being exhibitors and having a pavilion, we will have access to the attendees, as in the data of attendees, so we can match, make and identify investors as well. And thirdly, there are a few investors on this call, so we already have our own network of investors that we can tap into. So I hope that answers your question. And also just to add that as we build the proposition, as in the number of different businesses, whether that's 10, 15, 20 investment ready businesses, this is an opportunity that we can then go out to market ourselves as a pavilion and invite those investors, and in addition to those that are coming anyway. So I hope that answers your question, Faustin.
Thank you. I got your
thank you, Michelle. Clearly. And I believe we have Ambassador Levy. Are you with us? You have your hand raised for quite some time.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to compliment the host and the organizers of this event. Well done. We're very proud of you. We are behind to support you. This is a great initiative. My question will be, are you available to partner with other organizations which maybe those organizations have access to investors, those who will come under your umbrella and work together to achieve this vision of investment in Africa, so that our tourism industry could come back and rise again as before? Thank you.
I think
Sharon, do you have a quick, or do you have an answer
yes.
now, or can we be able to answer later?
Sharon, maybe before you answer,
thank you, Michelle.
Maybe Michelle, before you answer, with due respect, sorry to interfere, we are available from African Tourism Board as brand ambassador of African Tourism Board under my honorable executive chairperson can come together and look for partnership so that you partner with relevant stakeholders and organizations to assist one another and complement one another to grow and support your vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that wonderful news, and we shall take upon that, and Michelle and the team will be able to follow further. Chief Ambassador Joyce,
Yes.
the floor is yours.
Thank you so
Let
much.
me just remind each and everyone that time is against us.
Okay, I'll be very brief then. I want to thank you so much for this event, and everything that Chairman Nkube said, I am 100% behind. But I want to pay attention, or I want to draw attention to the crop of African Americans in America who are interested in coming to Africa to invest, and also for tourism purposes. I think it's important that we begin to promote to them. So I don't know if there's anything that's being done to outreach to the African American community who, because of what's happening presently in the US, are very, very interested in coming to Africa to live, to invest, and to help build up the continent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Can I step in? Thank you, ma'am. Joseph, can I step in to respond to her? Yes. Thank you, ma'am. When we set out this initiative, when we set out this initiative, madam, diaspora was actually a big interest for us, because just like you rightly said, we've seen that movement, and it's been aggressive in the recent times, and we're looking to tap into that market and get them involved as well. So we've reached out to for now a couple of communities within the African American, and if you, we would appreciate if you have, or if you have access to some data that we can also tap into. But at the moment, we've reached a couple of few, but not that impressive number. We're looking to actually expound on that number. So if you have access or certain information to that, we'd love to partner with you to see how we can have access to that market, because it is a huge market that we're looking to tap into the IETF. Yes.
Yes, it is. And I'm working with Chairman Nkube, so you can reach me through him.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gunte, you have something that you would like to express? Please, the floor is yours.
Thanks. First of all, I would like to tell you I was really impressed, and I did not know what to expect from this conversation. My topic is bridging Europe and Africa, and I'm a fundraiser for high-tech startups and startups in Africa, impact-oriented startups. And I have a huge network of venture capital, corporate venture funds, family offices, and I guess I have to talk with Michelle how I can add contact to those investors to help you make a great event, because I love the idea of the future is African. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gute. Last but not least, Mr. Fazou, are you still with us? Fazou, vous êtes là avec nous? I believe none of us can be able to hear him very well. But Mr. Fazou, if you are still with us, please go ahead.
Ah, yes, Joseph, oui, bonsoir. Allô, oui.
Okay, I guess Mr. Fazou just greeted me in French, of which it's very, very much definitely I could have response, but just
allô?
as part and parcel.
Allô?
Yes.
Allô? Oui, hello, how are you all? Joseph? Do you hear me?
Oui.
Oui, d'accord.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, yes. Comme d'habitude, ma question est de savoir pour l'Afrique, je n'ai pas assisté au début de la conférence parce que je suis venu un peu en retard, mais je ne sais pas si les termes de référence ont bien identifié les écarts entre les pays africains dans le cadre de l'investissement. Ma question est de savoir quelles sont les priorités ou en tout cas les topics qui sont arrêtés dans le cadre de l'investissement. Et ma priorité pour moi, en tout cas pour l'Afrique que je connais le mieux, l'Afrique de l'Ouest, la priorité dans l'investissement se situe au niveau du capital humain. Nous parlons souvent d'investissement, les investissements en infrastructure, les investissements financiers, etc., effectif d'un tourisme durable et d'une gestion vraiment optimale de toutes nos ressources, je pense que le premier investissement à faire, c'est un investissement sur le capital humain, sur la valorisation des capacités de chacun à pouvoir s'exprimer, à pouvoir offrir le meilleur de lui-même à partir de sa station de travail, de son poste de travail, de son métier et de ses qualifications. Et justement, à ce niveau-là, l'Afrique est très en retard. Homologation au niveau de la réglementation, au niveau de la qualité des services, et cela également est un problème. Donc, à mon avis, le premier pas ou le premier acte à investir sur le capital humain, et je vous remercie.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Je vais juste traduire d'abord en anglais pour les autres, et puis peut-être on aura plus de informations dans la réponse à laquelle après avoir traduit. Mr. Fazou is asking, is congratulating us first of all for the initiative, and him from being the West Africa is asking what are the project proposals? Have we done the conclusion of these project proposals? So with him, he wants to know if we can be able to share with him the details program that we have done. So we'll be able to share with him the PDF document so that he can be able to follow up. And his request is that we look at how can we be able to create sustainable tourism as part and parcel of these investment projects. If we have to initiate any project that is about investment, we have to look how can the community be able to contribute towards the investment project. Because as we believe, tourism without the community benefits, it's not tourism. So sustainable tourism is something that he is emphasizing that we should look at before we can talk about investments, which is a very good initiative. I can recall very well from my Minister of Tourism in Namibia. He said, community without benefit in the tourism, nobody can be able to move forward. So I'll concur with him on that. And I will say, thank you very much for bringing that sustainable tourism as part and parcel of the investment, because we are talking about the future. We're talking about how people can be able to benefit from every economical sectors. So, Mr. Zazou, merci beaucoup d'avoir amené ce sujet. C'est un sujet qu'on va regarder très, très bien avec un œil très, très ouvert pour qu'on arrive quand même à trouver une façon d'initier ce projet de tourisme durable. Ça me rappelle bien que l'Afrique, c'est une future dans ce domaine, mais il faut qu'on trouve une façon à laquelle on peut collaborer avec tout le monde. Si on n'arrive pas à collaborer, c'est-à-dire ça va nous amener toujours en retard. Mais on prend note de tout ce que vous nous avez dit et puis on va revenir vers vous et puis on va essayer de changer tout ce qu'on peut changer.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
So, and also Vous pouvez nous rejoindre la semaine prochaine quand on aura les informations, où on aura tout le ministre pour qu'on arrive quand même à faire un petit débat sur ce sujet. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you once again, next week, we do have the ministerial Zoom webinar where the ministers will be present from different countries that will be talking about tourism industry and how can they play a big key role in the TIA during the show in Rwanda. So let me give Sharon to close up, just to give us the words of thanks to everybody that has been here. Sharon, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, everyone. We're very grateful for having you join us on this day that we launched our event. Thank you very much for appreciate. And from here, we'd say let's go back and pack ready to invest. The African tourism industry is open for business and investment, and the IATF is a great platform to meet with investors and start signing deals and initiate investment conversations. So let's do this for one common goal and objective for the continent. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
And just as to thank you, everybody, we have kept all our emails. We have provided the email team at tourisminvestafrica. Please send us all the questions, send us the email. We will get in touch with you. The team and I, we are ready. We can't wait to be hosting you in Rwanda comes the 8th and the 14th of December. Thank you all and wish you a lovely evening.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Our best regard to Mr. Goodbay.
Thank you, Mr. Guter.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.